being called garbage was the most important part of Yachty's career. Let's take a little flashback to memory lane. Back when I was a youngin' in 7th grade, mind you, I just graduated from college like maybe a month ago and hit Unk status at like the age of 22. He started getting shamed and bullied all day by damn near every interviewer, by Joe Budden, on the Everyday Struggle podcast.
Would you say that you are kinky?
I'll keep my opinions on DJ Fatademics to myself. Jamaica does not claim him, along with Ebro, which is very much so to be expected. Charlemagne.
Who the hell raped your sisters?
Oh man, I don't want to get into that. It's a little too personal.
Other podcast hosts. Back in 2016, 2017 SoundCloud era, every single person had smoke for Lil Yachty. Now, first off, most of the people calling him garbage, even before Teenage Emotion dropped, were just mostly old heads who shouldn't even be interviewing younger artists in the first place and young rappers anyway. But that's another topic. He was fresh off big songs like Broccoli with Dram, One Night, Minnesota, Peekaboo, where Yachty didn't understand the difference between a woodwind and a string. Every single person on social media was shitting on him, and everyone with the podcast especially was shitting on him. Every interviewer, along with everyone else in between. I mean, at a certain point, I get it. He wasn't the best, but like, damn, let a nigga breathe a little bit, And after this, of course, he felt like he needs to go prove himself a little bit, kind of lock in, do what he needed to do. So he dropped Mason 97 with Carnage. Not a bad song. Personally made me fuck with Yachty a little bit more, and it did the same for a bunch of other people, but there still was a problem. The fast rapping stuff and the fast rapping style was kind of corny because obviously, when most people do it, it's kind of just like nonsense and they're not really saying anything, just like that skinny white guy on TikTok. Personally, if you ask me, I'm going to say the moment I realized that he wasn't fully dookie ass was 1-1. He was on From the D to A with T Grizzly, and then two vaults. That was 2017 and 2018. But when I heard From the D to the A by Lil Yachty back in 2017, I was genuinely impressed because my impression of him before that was, everyone keeps saying this, everyone keeps saying he's this, so I assume that he's also straight buns. Even though I've heard, his more popular songs, and I try to give some of his other songs a chance, like Minnesota and stuff, but I just wasn't really feeling it. He's already started to get a little tough back in like 2018, Lil Boat 2, songs like NBA Youngo and Count Me In, two of my favorites on that album. And then Nothing to Prove, songs like Get Drip, which 100,000% solidified him as a better rapper, along with Yachty, and that's also when Cardi started blowing up a little bit more. I also really wanted to like We Outta Here on that song because Young Nudie was on it, but I don't know, I just wasn't feeling it that much, honestly, which kind of sucks, but whatever. And still improvement, nonetheless. Improvement is improvement. And then in 2020, where it gets really fucking good. He dropped Lil Boat 3, he did hella collabs with Detroit rappers, and if you've seen my Spotify, you know that Detroit rap is my favorite subgenre of rap. Lil Boat 3 had some of his biggest songs, like Oprah's Bank Account, I'll keep my opinions to myself on the music video. Flex Up, TD, Pardon Me, Coffin, along with my personal favorites, Black Jesus and Demon. Along with In My Stussies, which feature Vince Staples, and also shout out to Vince Staples, who's also extremely versatile, but nobody really talks about it for some reason. But, people were fucking with it, and rightfully so. And the album was fire. And he's also been consistently getting... And now he moves on to Detroit to show some love, right? Royal Rumble, Crispy Bow, Rundown, and a bunch of other songs. The numbers go crazy on YouTube, and he does a little collab with just Detroit rappers, so like RMC Mike, T Grizzly, Sada Baby, Crispy Life, Rio the Young OG, Baby Smooth, V, and a few others. Yachty was rapping his fucking ass off. Do you understand how fire you have to be in order to keep up with old babytron, Rio, RMC, and Crispy? Granted, Rio does have a lot of features with small artists that he does for a fair price, but even then too, the people he does songs with, they can still hold their own, right? And they still have some type of talent. So even then too, you're not gonna get on a song with a Detroit rapper and just like start spitting some buns. It's not gonna fucking happen. They're not gonna let you do it. Now granted, of course, he still dropped some other albums after Michigan Boy Boat, which was, I think, 2021, I believe. I just wasn't really feeling them because there's like a certain kind of sound that I'm accustomed to and expect from Yachty. But, I'm also not saying his newer music is bad. after like I want to say 2023 plus, they're just not for me. And I give them a fair try, which is all you can ask from someone, right? Now, real shit, you know, I haven't seen people mass in large amounts hate on Yachty since 2021. People obviously had their critiques on, you know, Let's Start Here. But that's also a different story because obviously no true artist should be forced to continually just be forced in one little genre box and not be able to kind of deviate outside of that and do what they want and try new things and try new sounds and work with new artists and stuff like that. And then fast forward to now again, even with songs like Hate Me with Ian and Sorry Not Sorry with V's, he still keeps showing that he can rap and still keep up. Another thing is I just genuinely find it interesting when some people can spend so much time and energy to shit on someone and be nothing but extremely negative to them. But the moment when they actually start doing exactly what you want them to do and start doing better and improving in all the areas that you wanted them to, people just get completely silent. They can't give any props. They can't tell them good job. They can't like support them. They can't, you know, at least stream their music or like at least say anything about it as well, since they were so vocal about when they were so dog shit to them in their opinion. You know, everyone loves to hate, but nobody wants to give props. Like, what's his name, Rashad for sure, whose YouTube is literally nothing but just hate, corny takes, and sensationalized, soulless slop content. Slop content on his main page and then hating on his second page pretty much. Now, Yachty has been constantly improving over the past few years after getting constantly braided once again. And he's been solidly improving, which is good and all anyone can ask for. But, you know, what do you guys think about Yachty? Do you guys fuck with him? What are some of your favorite songs by him? Leave them in the comments. And subscribe here for weekly music content, Yap sessions. Same thing with TikTok, link in the description. None of that bullshit, very generic, just hot takes, personal opinions, and stuff that you're most likely not going to get from other creators.